Hello everyone, welcome to the another lecture of Language of Chemistry class 8, myself Suman Singh. So in the last class we have discussed about how to write the chemical formula or molecular formula. So now in today's class we will discuss about the significance of molecular formula or chemical formula. Okay, so as we know that in the previous class also we have discussed that the importance of this molecular formula. The importance was that it saves time, space or energy, right? So beside this there are so many other uses of this chemical formula is there. So the first thing, as you can see, first one is it will represent one molecule of a compound. Okay, now suppose we in the example you can take NaCl or H2O. It means what? It is representing the one molecule of the compound. Okay, now next is that the number of each kind of the atoms present, that is the ratio in which the atoms present is are present in one molecule. Means what? The number of each kind of atoms present, it will be the ratio in which the atoms are present in a one molecule. Okay, now next is when we talk about the mass. So when we talk about the mass of one molecule of the compound can be calculated if the atomic mass of each atom present in the molecule is known. Means what? We can find out, suppose H2O, we'll take the example of H2O. So if we know the mass of hydrogen and oxygen, we can find out the mass of this water. Okay, so it must be, when you will find out, suppose we are taking the example of H2O. So we know that the hydrogen has atomic mass 1 and the oxygen has 16. Okay, so we can easily find out the mass of this H2O. So the mass of H2O will be 1 into 2 plus 16, which will be 18. Okay, so in this way we can easily find out the mass of the molecules if the mass of each atom is known. Okay, now next is the mass. Molecular mass is the algebraic sum of the mass of all the atoms present in a given molecule. As I have already told you the example of H2O just now we have seen, right? So one more example is given here, a molecule of sulfur dioxide. When you will see the molecule of sulfur dioxide is represented by SO2, right? So it means that the element present in, what does it means? It means that the element which is as you can see here, as you can see here, it means that the element present in the sulfur, the element which is present in SO2 is what? Sulfur and oxygen, right? So as you can see, the element present in here is what? Sulfur and oxygen. So here one molecule of sulfur, okay, is combining with two molecule of oxygen, right? As you can see, one molecule of sulfur, in one molecule of sulfur dioxide has one atom of sulfur and two atom of oxygen, right? So as you can see, in sulfur dioxide SO2 there is one atom of sulfur and two atom of oxygen, right? Now next is when we talk about the molecular mass. So we can find out the molecular mass like this. Sulfur, when we talk about the sulfur SO2, sulfur atomic mass is what? The mass of the sulfur is 32. Okay, and the oxygen is 16. Okay, so how to find out the molecular mass? We can find out like this: 32, and how many oxygen is there? 2 oxygen means 16 into 16, 2 into 16. Okay, so 16 to the 32, 32 plus 32, it will be what? 64, right? So as you can see here, molecular mass of sulfur dioxide is obtained by adding the mass of each atom of sulfur and oxygen, right? So it is found that atomic mass of sulfur is what? 32, and the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Okay, so what we can say, therefore the molecular mass of SO2 will be 32 plus 2 into 16, which is 64 AMU. Okay, so atomic mass unit, AMU means atomic mass unit. So what is atomic mass? So atomic mass is what? It is the mass of the atom in an it is nothing but the mass of the atom. Okay, mass of the atom is called atomic mass. The mass of atom, the mass of an atom is called what? Atomic mass, right? Since an atom is very small, right? We know that the atom is very small, so it has become very difficult to measure the mass of the atom, right? So since it is a very small, so it is not possible to measure its mass in gram. So what we are doing, we are taking the reference, what we can say. So what, how we are finding out, we are using the reference. Just as example, we are taking the reference of mass of the light atom like hydrogen, or 1 by 12 of the mass of carbon, or 1 by 16th of the mass of oxygen as a reference, or we can say that the standard unit with which the mass of the atom of the other element can be calculated. Okay, so what we are doing, since the mass of the atom is very small, the size of the atom is very small, so it becomes very difficult to find out the mass of the atom with in gram. So what we are doing, so what we are doing, we are just taking the reference, just like we are taking the 1 by 12 1 by 12th part of oxygen. Means what, if this is an oxygen, okay, so we will divide this into 16 12 part, okay, and one part will take as a reference to measure the mass of the other element, right? So in this way we used to calculate the atomic mass. Now we know that carbon is what, carbon is the most suitable. We are taking here, nowadays we are taking 1 by 12 of the mass of the carbon atom. Okay, why we are taking carbon? Because carbon is more stable and most widely accepted standard unit for the measurement of atomic mass, right? So this is not what, this is called, this is known as atomic mass unit, right? This is called what, atomic mass unit, or AMU, right? So what now, so what, how we can define this atomic mass? So we can define like this: atomic mass is also known as the relative atomic mass, since it determined for an atom by comparing in which comparing it with the standard unit, right? So now there is table, one table is given, as you can see that in this table the element and their atomic masses are given. So it is given, I think 10 to 12 element is given here. So 3 here, and here 3 3 6 10 elements are given here, right? So as you can see 20 elements are given here, right? So the mass of 20 element you see here, and from there you can easily find out the molecular mass. Okay, so now next is what, atomic mass is what, the point should be noted, what we can say here, that the atomic mass can be what, whole number, okay, or a fraction, as it is the average mass taken for the different isotopes, right, of an atom as compared to the standard unit, right? Because what we can say, that atomic mass can be whole number or it may be in fraction, just like 35.5 for chlorine. And after that it can be, and the why it can be whole number or fraction, because it is the average mass. Okay, so it is the average mass for the different isotopes of the atom compared to the standard unit, because it is the average mass of the isotopes. Also we know that isotopes we have learned, right, same atomic number, different mass number. So then why it is coming in a fraction or in a whole number, that is because they are that is because that is the average mass of different isotopes. Okay, that is why it is coming like this. Suppose one example is given, that we compare the value of the we compare the value by rounding them off. As you can see, accordingly sodium has atomic mass was 23, potassium is 39, but chlorine, as you can see, 35.5, right? So and so on we can write this atomic mass. So I hope you have understood what is the concept of this atomic mass, right? Now next we will see chemical equations. So what is chemical equations? So chemical equation is a symbolic representation of the chemical reaction using symbol and formula of the substance involved in the reaction. Okay, what is this chemical reaction? Chemical reaction is a representation. Okay, and what is what, it is a symbolic representation of the chemical reaction using a symbol, using symbol formula using a symbol formula of the substance involved in the reaction. Okay, chemical reaction, just like example, sodium reacting with chlorine to form what, NaCl. So this is what, this is a chemical equation, right? Na plus Cl will give NaCl. So this is the chemical reaction. So what is this? This is a symbolic representation of the chemical reaction using what, using symbol formula of the substance involved in the reaction. Okay, so now next is substance The substances that is used as a starting material and which react with one another is called reactant, and the substance are formed is called, as a result, is called product. Suppose one example I will give you. Suppose we have A plus B, it is reacting to form C. So this side is called what? This side is a reactant. Okay, and this is called what? Product. Right? I hope you have understood this, right? This A and B is combining to form C. So this is A and B is called reactant. Okay, and this C which is formed here is called product. Okay, as you can see, reactant and product, right? So it is the reactant A plus B is called reactant, and it is noted by this arrow. Okay, and it is suppose giving AB. So AB here is called product, and this is called what? Reactant, right? So as you can see, reactant, and product. Now next is burning of coal in air is a chemical reaction in which new substance carbon dioxide is formed. Suppose we are taking here carbon. Okay, it is reacting with oxygen to form what? Carbon dioxide, CO2. So this is called what? This is the reactant here. Okay, this is the reactant here, and this is what? This is the product. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. What is reactant and product, right? Now next we will see here. So this reaction can be represented like this. As you can see, I have already done. C plus O2 will give CO2, which is carbon dioxide, right? So this side is called what? This side is called reactant, this side is called product, right? Now in fact, a chemical, what we can say, in fact a chemical reaction is what? A chemical reaction is just a shorthand description of the chemical reaction. It also saves time, space and energy, right? So what are the steps involved in writing the chemical equation? So first of all, what is the first step? Write the symbol. The first step is to write the symbol or the formula of the reactant. Okay, reactants on the left hand side with the sign plus. Okay, between them if one more than one atom is there, right? Just like this, A sub plus B, right, is equal to C. Now next is write the symbol or the formula of the product on the right hand side with the plus sign between them if more than one is there, right? Now next is we have to put the arrow. As you can see, we have put the sign of an arrow, this one, in between the reactant side and the product side. Okay, as we have seen now, just now. Next is represent the reactant and the product in their molecular form. Atomic form are usually neither stable nor capable of independent existence, right? So when you will this suppose we can what it has been told here, that we have to represent the reactant and the product in their molecular form. Okay, because atomic form usually neither because atomic form, when you will compare, when you will see the atomic form, it is neither stable nor capable of independent existence. Okay, now we have taken some of the example here. So first example is we have considered some of the chemical reaction. As you can see in this reaction, lead a reaction of lead monoxide. Okay, lead monoxide with carbon to form lead and carbon monoxide. Okay, so as you can see, lead monoxide we have taken here, lead monoxide, okay, plus carbon, it is reacting to form lead and carbon monoxide, as you can see. So lead monoxide is represented by PbO, carbon is represented as C, and the lead is represented as Pb, and carbon monoxide is CO, right? As you can see how it is written, right? Now next is what we can say, reaction between iron and sulfur to produce iron 2 sulfide, and on heating, iron plus sulfur, it will on heating it will give iron 2 sulfide. So as you can see, iron is represented as Fe, sulfur as S, when we are heating here, it is forming iron 2 sulfate, which is written as FeS, right? So you are seeing the way it is writing, right? We have it has been written here, right? So one more example. Now next example is reaction between carbon dioxide and water to produce hydrogen carbonate, and which is also called carbonic acid. So as you can see, water reacting with carbon dioxide to form hydrogen carbonate or carbonic acid. So water is what? H2O, carbon dioxide is what? CO2, and hydrogen carbonate is H2CO3, right? So how you can see it is divided. This side is called what? This side is what? Reactant. This side is what? Product, right? Now next is reaction between calcium oxide and water to produce calcium hydroxide. So calcium oxide plus water to form calcium hydroxide, right? So calcium oxide is CaO, water is H2O, calcium hydroxide is CaOH2. It is separated by this. So this side is reactant, this side is product. Okay, so we have noticed that what we have noticed in each of the reaction, you will see that what we have noticed, we will notice that the total number of atoms on the reactant side as well as the product side are equal, right, in each of the above equation. So such reaction is called what? Balance equation. As you can see, how many calcium? 1. Here also 1. How many hydrogen? 2. Here also how many hydrogen? 2. How many oxygen? 1. How many oxygen? 1 here and 1 here, 2. So here also 2. So this type, in which what we can say here, carbon, oxygen and hydrogen is same, and here also carbon, oxygen and hydrogen is same. So the such type of equation is called what? Balanced chemical equation, right? Now next is here also you can see how many hydrogen? 2. Here how many hydrogen? 2. Here how many carbon? 1. Here also how many carbon? 1. How many oxygen? 2 or 1? 3. Here also oxygen is 3, right? So this type of element is called what? This type of substance, this type of chemical equation is called balanced chemical equation, right? So I hope you have understood what is balanced chemical equation, right? So now we will consider the reaction of as you can see, so we will consider the reaction of hydrogen between hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, between hydrogen and chlorine to form what? Hydrogen chloride, HCl. So as you can see, hydrogen H2, chlorine Cl2 reacting with hydrogen chloride to form HCl. So this is a word equation and this is what? Skeletal equation. Okay, so as you can see, we cannot write this equation H plus HCl will H plus, we cannot write like this H plus Cl. Let me write right here. We cannot write like this H plus Cl will give HCl. We cannot write like this. Why? Because here H and Cl, here this H and this Cl represent the atom of hydrogen and chlorine. It represents the atom of hydrogen and chlorine, right? Hydrogen and chlorine, which have no independent existence. As we know, we can't find hydrogen H, and we cannot find the atom of hydrogen, or we cannot find the atom of chlorine, right? So it is representing, since it is representing the atom of hydrogen and chlorine, which has no independent existence, so the two reactant can be written as H2 and Cl2, right? So they are in their molecular form, because this is a molecular form, this is the atomic form, right? So since if I am writing only H, then this is what is a molecular, it is an atomic form. But when we are writing H2, it is what? Molecular form. Again, when I am writing Cl, means chlorine, it is a molecular form. But here this is what, this is what? Atomic form. This is what? Molecular form, right? So so what we are writing, the two reactant should be written in H2 and Cl2, as you can see here, because it is in a molecular form, and the molecular have an independent existence, right? Molecular form has an independent existence, so we can write like this, right? So it will form what? It will form 2HCl. Okay, now next is, so as you can see in this equation, here 2 hydrogen 2 chlorine, but here only 1 hydrogen and 1 chlorine, right? So this side and this side are non-balanced, right? So this type of equation is called what? Unbalanced chemical equation. Okay, as you can see, it's such an equation is called unbalanced one and it is also known as skeletal equation. Okay, since this equation is what, unbalanced, right? So this equation is called what, skeletal equation. Okay, not balanced equation. If there will be a balanced equation, then both the atoms on both the side will be equal, as we have seen in the example of H2 and CO2 will give H2CO3, right? So here's some of the example of skeletal. As you can see, H2 and O2 combine to form H2O, but here two hydrogen, two oxygen, but here two hydrogen and only one oxygen. So this is not, this unbalanced equation. Okay, this is also called a skeletal equation. Which one is the one which is unbalanced is called what, a skeletal equation. Okay, so Mg M plus O2 MgO N plus N2 plus S2 NH3 Na plus Na plus Cl2 will give NaCl. So these are all what, they are unbalanced chemical equation, and we have to remember that all chemical equation must be balanced in order to follow the law of conservation of mass. Since we cannot write like this, okay, we cannot write like this, we have to balance this. Okay, we have to balance this, then only we can write like this. For 2 NaCl we can write 2 Na plus Cl2 will give 2 NaCl, then only it will be correct, because according to the law of conservation of mass, the mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, right? Only can be transferred from one place to another, right? As you can see, according to law of conservation of mass, the mass the states that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, only it can be transferred from one form to another, right? So we cannot write like this, we have to balance this. Okay, we have to balance this, that's only we can write, because according to law of conservation of mass should not be changed, right? So I hope up to this we have understood, right? So leave up to this, in the next class we will see why there is a need to balance a chemical reaction. Okay, where, as I have already told you, we have to balance the chemical equation, right? So what is the need, why there is a need to balance the chemical equation, why the need was felt to balance the chemical equation, and the next, what is the, how to balance the chemical equation. Okay, these two things we will see in the next class. Read this one. As you can see, how to balance the chemical equation. So this one we will see in the next class. I hope today's class you have understood, right? So till that, thank you.